Hello, my name is Nicole Listema, and I will be conducting the weekly weather briefing by the National Weather Service in Atlanta, Georgia for the week of July 6, 2017. A typical summertime pattern is expected through Friday. A cold front will slowly sag south over the Outlook area through the weekend and probably stall somewhere across north central or north Georgia into early next week. It's July, it's going to be hot and humid, and for our weekly webinar users, a new briefing software will be unveiled next week. So let's start with today's forecast. The air mass across Georgia remains very moist and unstable, providing plenty of fuel for afternoon and evening thunderstorms. A weak mid-level disturbance may enhance the development of storms later this afternoon and into the evening hours. The radar picture out of Huntsville, Alabama shows a cluster of showers and thunderstorms across southern Tennessee building into northern Alabama. This area of showers and thunderstorms will continue east through the afternoon and into the evening and may even build southward into the mountains of North Georgia and could even reach the northern suburbs of Atlanta. Well, we've talked about the weather for today. Let's get into Friday through Sunday. As discussed earlier, we are in a typical summertime pattern. Afternoon highs in the 90s for most places outside of the mountains, with high humidity values, and afternoon and evening scattered showers and thunderstorms each day. Friday's weather will be very similar to today's. Afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms could be enhanced by any upper level disturbances that move through the region. A weak cold front will begin to sag south over much of Georgia on Saturday and then become nearly stationary on Sunday. This front will likely hang around through the first part of next week. Now, scattered showers and thunderstorms are expected to develop along and south of this boundary Saturday and Sunday, and again potentially into early next week. Today looks to be the warmest day for the remainder of the work week, with temperatures only being a couple of degrees cooler on Friday. But again, temperatures are near normal for this time of year. Weekend high temperatures will be very similar and range from the upper 80s to lower 90s across much of the state, with the mountains being slightly cooler with high temperatures in the middle 80s expected. The highest heat indices are expected today, but values will only be a few degrees lower on Friday, and values across the area will be around 100 across east central and central Georgia, with middle to upper 90s across the metro area. The mountains will see a little relief, heat indices in the middle to upper 80s. The heat indices for Saturday and Sunday are still very similar, with the highest values remaining across east central and central Georgia. If you're going to be outside this weekend, remember, always stay hydrated and limit strenuous outdoor activity during the heat of the day. Try and do your activities in the morning before it gets too hot or in the late evening. Measurable rainfall should mostly be confined to areas along and north of the Interstate 85 corridor for the next 24 hours. Average rainfall amounts should range between 1/2 inch to 1 1/4 inches across far north Georgia. Of course, this time of year, locally heavier amounts are possible within the thunderstorms. No widespread flooding is expected for the next 24 hours. Average rainfall amounts for the next 7 days should average between 1 to 3 inches across the entire Outlook area. Again, locally heavier amounts are possible within thunderstorms, especially ones that move repeatedly over the same areas. No widespread flooding is expected within the next 7 days. Now let's talk about the severe weather potential for today through Sunday. The Storm Prediction Center has placed a portion of North Georgia in a marginal risk for severe thunderstorms today. What does this mean for you? Well, if you're in the outlooked area, isolated severe thunderstorms will be possible. Any severe thunderstorm that develops will have the potential to produce damaging wind gusts around 60 miles an hour. Now, we've already had showers and thunderstorms develop earlier today, so anytime for the remainder of the afternoon and the evening, thunderstorms can develop. The best location again for isolated severe thunderstorms is the northern suburbs and the mountain areas. But remember, this time of year, all thunderstorms will contain gusty winds, frequent lightning strikes, and locally heavy rainfall. Widespread severe weather is not expected on Friday. However, even the strong thunderstorms will be capable of producing gusty winds, frequent lightning strikes, and locally heavy rainfall. This time of year, we cannot rule out an isolated severe thunderstorm. For Saturday, the weak cold front will begin sagging south across the outlook area. Strong to isolated severe thunderstorms are possible mainly along and ahead of the cold front. The main hazards would be damaging wind gusts in excess of 60 miles an hour, hail up to the size of a quarter, frequent lightning strikes, and locally heavy rainfall. Even though SPC isn't predicting widespread severe weather for days 4 through 8, an isolated severe thunderstorm cannot be ruled out, especially if Saturday's frontal boundary stalls over the area. Now let's see if there are any storms out in the Atlantic that we need to be concerned about. The National Hurricane Center is issuing advisories on Tropical Depression number 4 that is still well out into the Atlantic. This storm will continue to move toward the west-northwest over the next 48 hours. Dry and dusty air from the Sahara is being entrained into the system. As the storm moves west-northwest, it will also encounter increasing wind shear. The National Hurricane Center says Tropical Depression number 4 is not expected to become a tropical storm at this time. Even though the National Hurricane Center is not expecting Tropical Depression number 4 to develop into a tropical storm, you may want to stay attuned to the latest forecast issued by the National Hurricane Center. Let's do a short review before I let you go. Afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms are expected each day through the weekend and potentially into early next week. Isolated severe thunderstorms cannot be ruled out. Newsflash, it's July. It's going to be hot and humid. Take precautions if you're going to be outside. And again, Tropical Depression number 4 is not currently expected to develop into a tropical storm. However, you should probably stay attuned to the National Hurricane Center's latest forecast. Thank you so much for listening to this weekly weather briefing. As always, we love to hear from you. The best way to connect with us is probably Twitter or Facebook. We love to see your weather pictures, and we also love when you send us damage pictures from severe thunderstorms. If you don't have Twitter or Facebook, you can always give us a call at our phone number listed at the top. Have a great weekend. Stay safe out there.